We're just going to start? Okay. You know what? I don't know. He said sure. And I told him that we're on and waiting, so. I guess I'll set to exit the dungeon while waiting. Exit the dungeon. That's ready. Not on kick. Okay, where is my sound? There we go. I've done this already. Yep. Save that. It's more magic magic bullets that turn them into chickens. You're in for it now, buddy. I picked up an item called Bell. So temporarily everything's slower. Oh yeah. Makes it a lot easier to see things and dodge accordingly. Yeah. But I could react 1,000 times better with it being slow. Nah. It's not, because it just damaged things near me, but then I only want things that will help me with bosses. That's only like a little bit of damage. I want things that make... Oh gosh. Such a tiny area. And it does make one. I'm surprised it did not give me a chest, because that was rough. It's just random. Again, he said sure, so we can start the run, say, sorry, my friend, we waited long enough, or we can keep waiting for him. Let's just start. Okay, once. That's super soon. There we go. Got my chesty. All right. You can start. Blah. Oh yeah, there's no music. All right, Char, choose a track. Surprise Me, Liked, Afrobeats, Call Me Cinematics, Chill Guitar, Chill Jazz, Latin Pop, Love Bug, Meditation, Polka, Traditional Latin, or VHS. There we go. This does have a back in the day beats. Hmm. Oh. Is that game? Nope. Nope. Again, +2. Let's see what happens. Oh, he +2'd. Oh, he had no +2s. Dang. Wow. He's hungry. Nice. He just keeps on tailing you. This is my second drawing, just a +4 on pudding. That's fine. No, it's fine. I have a contingency. Oh! Oh. That's a game. All right. Is that for us, or are we done with Uno now? Yep, 2 sections. Okay. You want to? Want to read? All right. It is 1:30. I said 2 o'clock. Nope. And also, again, the idea is we're doing lots of reading because we're enjoying learning about good things, wholesome things. Geez, Sterling went from amazing. I am so excited to read about the Jubilee. Thank you, Jesus, thank you, Yahweh, that with your people, the ancient Israelites, that when you said, you're my people, you're my priesthood, that in your systems you have the year of Jubilee that will release all debts and prisoners, all lands. It will just start over. We don't have any historical records of it being practiced, but we just know that you just know how us humanity, that we just, people fall like in the down under, and so they do what they do to survive. And families can sometimes be in cycles of poverty, and you had a system built in with the community, and that was just your heart. Your heart was for the down under. So please reveal to us what it means to the original audience, and also what it means in the light of your death and resurrection. And thank you for proclaiming the year of Jubilee on me and on everyone who declares allegiance to you. Jubilee happens, life happens, you are the giver of it. May we look to you and declare it was for us. One for all's name, amen. The Jubilee. Yahweh spoke to Moses. Yahweh spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. Speak to the Israelites as follows. When you come into the country I'm giving you, the country is to observe a Sabbath for Yahweh. 6 years you may sow your fields, and 6 years you may prune your vineyard and gather the produce. But on the 7th year is to be a total Sabbath for the country, a Sabbath for Yahweh. You will not sow your field, prune your vineyard, reap your harvest after growth, or pick the grapes of your unpruned vines. It is to be a year of cessation. Cessation? Is that how you say it? Let's look it up.
Cessation.
Cessation. Close. Get out of here. But in the 7th year is be a total Sabbath for the country. Okay, here it is. Reap your harvest after growth, or pick the grapes of your unpruned vines. It is be a year of cessation for the country. The country's Sabbath will be food for you, your male and female servant, your employee and your resident living with you, and for your cattle and the wild animals that are in your country. All its produce will be for eating. You are to count off seven Sabbaths of years. 7 times 7 years, so that your 7 Sabbaths of years are 49 years. You are to sound a blaring horn in the 7th month. On the 10th of the month, on the day of complete expiation, you are to sound the horn throughout your country. You are to sanctify the 50th year and proclaim release in the country for all its inhabitants. This be a jubilee for you. You are to return each person to his holding, and to return each person to his family. The year, that 50th year, is to be a jubilee for you. You will not sow or reap its aftergrowth, or pick its unpruned vines. Because it is a jubilee, it is to be sacred. Because it is a jubilee, it is to be sacred for you. You are to eat from the produce of the field. In this year of jubilee, you are to return each person to his holding. So when you sell property to your fellow or buy from what the possesses, one person is not to wrong his relatives. It is by counting the years since the jubilee that you are to buy from your fellow. It is by the number of years of produce that he is to sell to you. The rest of the passage gives more details on how the jubilee is to work. Then reminds people of basic requirements concerning images, the Sabbath, and the sanctuary. So, do you get what's going on, Char? So what is jubilee? What is the year of jubilee? Well, kind of. So you celebrate already. So they're farmers, okay? So for 6 years, you work the land hard. You're growing things, you're tilling, you're going hardcore on it. But on the 7th year, you don't do any work to it. You eat what it makes, but you're not gathering it. You gather to eat, but you. Yeah. Oh, at least the ground. You give the ground rest. You gather food for the day. Most of the time when you're working a field, you gather you go hardcore gathering and you're sowing and that is 6 years of hard work, 7th year rest. Now that times 7. So you do that every 6 years, and on the 7th year you rest. So now you're at 49 years, right? So 7 times 7 times 7, right? So on the 7th Sabbath, which 7 means complete, you then have a year of jubilee where you also don't rest, but then you also give people their land back. You release debts. If you have any Hebrew slaves or servants, they're released. And so it's like a huge just reset button on the economy. The other day I heard a story. About a couple who have just had their home repossessed. Part of the story's sadness was that it is not only the house where the wife had been born, but the house where her father had been born. The couple inherited from her parents and lived there happily until they got into economic difficulties 2 or 3 years ago and took out a second mortgage. Then everything went wrong with the economy and they hadn't understood the implications of the refinancing they had arranged. It meant they lost their house. The financial advisor who had worked with them commented that it was his job to sell mortgages, not to warn people about the moves they're making. One reason Israel had provisions like these concerning the Jubilee is that people always need protecting from such experiences. Like the detailed schedule for the annual festivals in Leviticus 23, these instructions for the Sabbath year and the treatment of the poor, including the ban on lending money at interest, expand on the outline in Exodus 22 to 23. One of their underlying assumptions is that the land belongs to God. People recognize that the week belongs to God by holding themselves back from 1 day in 7. And that offsprings belong to God by dedicating the first fruit of the womb, and that the harvest belongs to God by giving tithes. And they recognize that the land belongs to God by keeping off it for 1 year in 7. The idea will be scary. How can one expect to survive on that basis? As happens with those other observances, God promises they will be provided for. They can't treat the Sabbath year's growth as a regular harvest or store some of it away for the future, but it will provide them enough to eat. God does not promise that they will do as well as their neighbors, but does promise that they will have enough. Whereas Exodus 23 provided a humanitarian rationale for the Sabbath year and the Sabbath itself, Leviticus makes it simply something people do as part of their acknowledgement of God's ownership of the land. The same principle underlies the Jubilee idea. Our word Jubilee comes from the Hebrew word used here in the origin. It refers to blowing a ram's horn, the signal that the year has arrived. The Jubilee idea again presupposes that the land belongs to God. You cannot sell it as you can sell a house in the city. You cannot sell a house in a village because that is an adjunct to the land that people are there to farm. It also presupposes that God allocated the land to the people by their clans and extended families. That excludes any people becoming big landowners. Some will be better or more hardworking farmers than others, or will have better luck than others and will be able to make those others an offer for their land that they cannot refuse, especially when lazier or poorer or unluckier farmers cannot make ends meet. The prophet's admonishments show that exactly this happened in Israel. Leviticus sets in place procedures designed to prevent it, on the assumption that the Torah developed over the centuries as God guided the community in facing the needs that arose in different social contexts. One can imagine that its regulations were worked out in light of the experience of such dynamics. Like its Sabbath year teaching, the Torah is not directly concerned here with the impoverished farmers themselves. Restoring the land to the families that owned it happened only once every 50 years. So people who lost their land are not likely to live long enough to have a particular interest in farming again by the time the Jubilee comes around. Perhaps Leviticus presupposes that their predicament was likely to be their own fault. Its own concern is with God's purpose, not with poor farmers. God had a plan for the country, and God does not want it derailed for the incompetence of some and the greed of others. At the same time, for the people themselves, there's hardly a question more basic to their lives than the question of land. It's hard for an urbanized society to grasp this idea. There is no supermarket down the street, and you have no money. Being able to live depends on being able to grow your food, and being able to grow your food depends on possessing land. The Torah sets forward no idea whereby everybody has the same assets and income, the same degree of wealth. Rather, it assumes that wealth places obligations before people. Farmers who do well are not to make that the basis for enlarging their farms, but the basis for helping people who do not do well, without asking questions about why they failed. Well, what the well-off do is take over the land of failed farmers on a temporary basis. They are to do so in a fair way in light of where the people are in relation to the previous Jubilee and the next one. In the meantime, they will be able to see the land is properly farmed. Its nominal owners will now work more like employees than owners of the land. Their new boss is to treat them well, not as if they were servants or aliens, but as family members. Servants and aliens were treated as members of the family, but evidently not in quite the same sense. Yet they have lost their independence and their land has lost its proper stewards. When this happens, one possibility is that someone else from their own extended family may be in position to act as their restorer or redeemer, by giving back to the new owner whatever he has provided for the impoverished man and his family. Or maybe they'll get to a position where they can restore themselves. If that does not happen, in due course, the Jubilee brings a release to both people and land. Leviticus points to another principle underlying the way successful farmers are to treat the unsuccessful. As the land belongs to God, so do the people. They are all God's servants. Therefore, the successful cannot treat the unsuccessful as if they were servants. You could treat foreigners that way, Leviticus says, which might seem narrow-minded, and anticipates the way the New Testament expects people in the church to treat one another with more love than they treat outsiders. That is how family works. In the Torah, at least, the point may be a theoretical one. Its focus is on how people treat fellow Israelites who become impoverished. There would not be many foreigners in the village, apart from resident aliens who come in a different category. And the point about foreigners is they're only as a make-weight. Promises and warnings and promises. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 3 to 46. If you walk by my rules and guard my commands and do them, I will give your rains in their season, so that the country will give its produce and the trees of the field their fruit. For your threshing will overtake reaping, and reaping will overtake sowing. You will eat your food to the full and live securely in your country. I'll put peace in the country, and you will lie down with no one disturbing. I will eliminate harmful beasts from the country, and the sword will not pass through your country. You pursue your enemies, and they'll fall to the sword before you. 5 of you pursue 100, and 100 of you pursue 10,000. Your enemies will fall to the sword before you. I will look on you and make you fruitful and numerous. I will establish my covenant with you. You will eat old grain, then take out the old to make room for the new. I will put my dwelling in your midst, and my heart will not spurn you. I will walk about in your midst. I will be God for you, and you will be a people for me. I am Yahweh your God, who brought you out of Egypt to stop being servants to them and broke the bars of your yoke and let you walk erect. You know, it's crazy, Char. I just noticed this. I will put my dwelling in your midst, and my heart will not spurn you. I will walk about in your midst. That's Garden of Eden. So if, like, it's crazy because he's saying, like if you follow these, your land will be bountiful. Eden is bountiful. The Garden of Eden is bountiful. And I will be with you. I will walk among you. Bountiful. But if you do not listen to me and put into effect all these commands, if you reject my rules and your heart spurns my decision, so as not to put into effect any of my commands and break my covenant, I will also do this to you. I will appoint terror over you, wasting away in fever, wearing out the eyes and consuming the heart. You will sow your seed in vain. Your enemies will eat it. I will set my face against you, and you will stumble before your enemies. Your foes will dominate you, and you will flee when there is no one pursuing you. Verses 18 to 41 warn of a continuing process whereby Israel's failure to respond to Yahweh's chastisement will lead to further chastisements designed to drag them back, culminating in their being thrown out of the country. Then at last they'll turn back to Yahweh. And I will be mindful of my covenant with Jacob, and my covenant with Isaac, and be mindful of my covenant with Abraham, and be mindful of the country. The country will be left by them, so that it may make up for its Sabbaths by being desolate without them. And they themselves will make up for their waywardness because they rejected my decisions and their hearts spurned my rules. But for all this, when they are in the country of their enemies, I will not reject them or spurn them so as to finish them off, breaking my covenant with them because I am Yahweh their God. I'll be mindful for them of the covenant with the original people I brought out of Egypt in the sight of the nations, to be God for them. I am Yahweh. These are the rules, the decisions, and the teaching Yahweh established between him and the Israelites at Mount Sinai by means of Moses. Yesterday, a student from a two-thirds world country came to see me to talk about wealth and poverty, about the idea that God exercised a preferential option for the poor, about whether it was okay for us to enjoy the wealth we have, and about what we should say to a friend who asked if it was okay to buy a BMW rather than a Honda. He didn't know I just bought a Honda. Discussing such issues with someone from the two-thirds world is different from discussing them with someone from the West. Though this discussion was complicated by the fact that the student is in the United States because his family is well-to-do in his home country and can afford to send him to graduate school here. I talked about the fact that the Bible has no ideal whereby everyone has the same amount of wealth, but that having wealth is designed to make it possible to share it with others, and that people who want to spend a lot of their wealth on themselves will need to ask themselves what they expected to get out of doing that. The previous evening I had watched the movie Confessions of a Shopaholic, which at one level is simply a romantic comedy, but at the same time, it raises questions about the rush that buying things give us, like the rush you get from any addiction. By its nature, the rush is only momentarily. Then we have to buy something else. The Torah does not encourage a prosperity gospel, promising that some people do really well through their obedience to God so that they have a BMW while others drive a Honda. It does encourage the assumption that when the people of God live God's way, together they will do well. Jesus confirms that assumption. Given the generous nature of God's work in creation, where it looks so good and God gave Adam and Eve so many great things to eat, even if it's veggie, it is not surprising that God wants people to enjoy food, not to mention peace, security, and an awareness of God's walking about among them. Leviticus used the same word as comes in Genesis 3 to describe that walking. You hear what I said? Do you notice I pointed that out? In fact, it is almost promising return to the Garden of Eden. But then the same challenge applies to Israel as applied to Adam and Eve. God's plan will work out only if they live the way God directs. The chapter spends most of its time describing the horrible consequences that will follow if they do not. It looks on through the story that will take Israel into exile, and it needs reading from the perspective of people reading it there. They can look back over Israel's story and see it has indeed been troubled by sickness and famine and by attackers such as the Moabites, Philistines, and the Syrians. The Assyrians terminated the life of Ephraim, and the Babylonians did that to Judah, destroying a temple in Jerusalem. The government, business people, intellectuals, prophets, and priests were taken off to Babylon, where they can no longer cause trouble. In exile, it will not be surprising if they are discouraged, desolate, and dying of a broken heart. Is this the end? Moab and Philistine no longer exist. Is Israel going out of existence too? Other peoples get transported from their country. Will these Judeans ever see theirs again? Leviticus offers them various forms of good news, beginning, paradoxically, with a list of warnings about what will follow from disobedience. When we ask, why did this happen to me? We're looking for meaning. We can cope a little better with disaster if it makes sense than if it is simply random. It often does look random. Leviticus enables the exiles to see that in their case it was not. The grim thing that had happened meant something. Being thrown out of the country made sense because they had ignored the rule about Sabbath years for centuries. God was now letting the country take its accumulated Sabbaths. It was an assertion of God's ownership of the country. This in itself meant that the exile need not be permanent. Israel needed just to make up for those Sabbaths. Further, in general, God's actions had been more like a parent's chastisements than a judge's punishments. They were reactions to the people's wrongdoing and were designed to win them back because of the covenant relationship between God and Israel. That's the difference between Israel and Moab. And while Moab can disappear and Israel cannot, if this seems unfair, we can recall that God's keeping a covenant with Israel is the means of bringing about the salvation of the world, a process of which Christians today are all beneficiaries. The fact that Israel breaks the covenant does not mean God will do so. God will remember not merely the covenant with Israel, which stressed the importance of its obedience, but the covenant with their ancestors, which issued purely from God's grace and was based purely on God's promissory commitments. Is that how you say it? That's an interesting word. Promissory.
Promissory.
Oh. That O makes the A sound?
Promissory.
Promissory. Okay. Promissory. Okay. God will remember not merely the covenant with Israel, which stressed the importance of his obedience, but the covenant with their ancestors, which issued purely from God's grace and was based purely on God's promissory commitments. We actually didn't even look up the definition. Promissory. Okay, promissory, containing or conveying a promise or insurance. Ah, because he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that makes promissory. It's just a fancy word for promise. Maybe now at last God's chastisement can have its designed effect. Maybe now the government can own how its political policies left God out. The business people can own how they left ethics out. And the intellectuals can own how they thought the same way as Edomite intellectuals. Maybe now the priests can own how they gave people the religion they wanted. And the prophets can own how they gave people false comfort. When the people turn back, Leviticus says, there is God waiting to welcome them. All right, friend, we can start. Hey, Houston. Oh, there's spikes there.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry I didn't join you for Uno because we were busy doing stuff, but they ended right around the time you probably finished.
Yeah. That's cool.
I see you do get to play the robot as a character.
Yep. And then, so I got the OP.
Last character?
Maybe. But I did get the most OP character. I mean, the most OP item.
Ow.
Clone.
Ah. It shall always be.
Nothing beats clone.
Maybe except the...
Maybe the hot shots.
Oh yeah, I was thinking the gunslingers are like Lich Eyeball.
Oh yeah, Lich Eyeballs are pretty powerful. You're right about that. Oh, I also got Clover.
Yeah.
So I'm getting all of the rare items.
Ooh, nice. That's really difficult to find in the original game.
Yep. I remember I unlocked Clover in the original game. I don't think I ever got to use it. Dang, dude. But they're like bringing up the heat in the game. You can just feel it.
Once you get the base characters unlocked, all the other ones are like, hey, you're actually playing this game somewhat decently. Take difficulty.
Yeah, I did beat the cultist. I think it was yesterday.
Nice.
So, you remember that static noise? That started happening
Yeah.
again on my stream when I started using the wireless. So I'm checking now. I stopped using my wireless headsets.
You think it's having a bad time with the...
Which is interesting if that's the case.
What is your wireless headset? Is it like a USB headset?
It's a SteelSeries one. I connected via the
Oh,
analog.
is it the one David also has?
Yeah. I connected via the analog for the direct sounds, and I have the aux setting, so I connect it via aux. But I do connect it to my main computer. It has nothing to do with my laptop.
Okay.
But then I'm just seeing if somehow through weird...
You're thinking it's having a feedback loop on the aux port, so it's causing it to bug out.
Yeah. I'm okay if that's the case. It sucks, but I'm okay if that's the case.
Because you know what is the case.
Yeah, and I know if yeah.
It's all the contender for it.
I'll take that fix, you know. Then this is weird because I have to like reset OBS, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The woes of static feedback loops.
Oh. All right, clone to the very beginning. Oh man. This is gonna be a very interesting.
But does the robots start just to not have them on an elevator, or is that just because you're on a phone?
That's just how it is, not an elevator.
Is it because you can you even dodge it in that state?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna be like, if you can't dodge in that state, that's truly hard. It's hard mode.
Actually, it's a lot. Like flying is like easy mode.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be hard mode, but no, it's easy.
I mean, this is the only part that you start off flying though.
Right.
Like I have to unlock. Like that's what made the cultist win a lot easier, is when I unlocked wax wings.
Yeah. Also, many bananas.
Yeah. So many bananas. So it's interesting. So jam characters only show once you get your combo high enough. Because when your combo's high enough, then the blessing of the gun gives you rarer items.
And so it's also making it more difficult.
Yeah.
Or
at least they're trying to by sending jam out. All right, what does this shop have? Ooh, armor synth. Definitely picking that up. At the very beginning of this run, though, they seriously gave me everything not for him, like the heart Sith. They gave me like everything they gave hearts.
Rip.
They make flaming hands do like a little, like almost a Mario with the fire.
the fireballs, yeah.
It'd be very interesting if somehow that loop from the wireless, because I have my soundboard connected to my laptop that does the streaming through USB-C, and so it'd be really interesting if that loop from the wireless headsets through the aux is somehow going all the way to OBS.
Well, I'm saying it might have been crashing your soundboard properly. And OBS would have, like, act as a reset button, sorts, like... Because, for example, sound cards, for example, you click activate and deactivate, and actually sometimes it turns it on and off the receiving signal. Or at least that's what it seems like.
All right, does it just drop? How does this
Software is weird.
I got the Tangler.
Nice.
I couldn't tell until they started turning into blocks. Oh, gosh darn it. But that's enough. Got so many flawless in that moment where you just miss it. Like that. They just love giving me hearts in this with this robot, this run.
At least it has a benefit for you with the combo up thing.
Yeah.
Think of the original.
was a weird noise.
Sorry if there was some weird sounds. I pulled off my headset.
Oh,
Take
okay.
off my shirt.
That's it then.
I also got the ear cups for my new headset again, so I'm using the better pair.
nice.
So probably didn't even think about it. You just heard me, and not me, but slightly sounding better.
Do you sound more? Yeah, you sound more you.
Well, no, I was saying like with a bad headset, it was.
Yeah.
You didn't think about it. You just knew it was me.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I meant.
yeah. With your other headset, you could just tell.
Because it was worse.
You sound
But
like
when
you
it's
sound
better,
like
it's,
radio jams. Oh my gosh. Better than this. Probably shouldn't have got the irritated bullets.
Why do you say that?
It's not that great. It doesn't do as much, poison counter numbers like it did in the first one.
I mean, to be fair, in the first one, it also happened to leave puddles of poison to walk on.
Yeah, and it used to be a lot more long form gaming. Like, I really wish I could I could explore 2D, like you could explore in the first one, and that there were synergies. That's the thing that just like I see,
It's like the loss of depth.
Yeah, it's like I see the serious sandball that I kind of log, but it breaks my heart that I can't be having charging men with cannonballs. Do you see that? His Majesty Chancellor. Oh, do you see the untitled goose?
Yep.
The untitled gun. This is probably the best gun in the game. Just, I don't know, like, if it's better
But you enjoy it.
damage-wise, but I enjoy it, yeah. I don't think I have enough. Nope. It's that day. Let's go.
No angry bullets for you.
Or shadow bullets.
You are
which is
neutral bullets.
literally just double damage shadow bullets.
Most of the time, yeah.
Woohoo! go. Iframes. Do some Planko.
Wow, what a pachinko board.
I know. There's nothing you can really do to.
Yeah, it is. Pachinko is effectively just gambling with extra steps, and it's fully legal in Japan. They accept it.
And luck is an actual, like a status in a video game. Nice. To the kicker goes the spoils. Show me your secrets.
Dog.
With Magnet, I don't really need dog. Because all the dog does in this game is goes around and collects things for you. But I have Magnet, so it automatically comes to me anyways.
Oh, so that doesn't even have a chance of more things dropping.
Yep, there's no... That just means extra blanks, and I already start off with 4. I don't need more blanks. I'm going to save it. Alright, let's go. Oh, there's that? Okay, game. Can you give me a black chest? Alright. Oh. Permaflying.
That is what that clover does. It just makes it ignore the rarity and just makes what is supposed to be uncommon quite more common. I've only gotten that item like once or twice into the dungeon, and it is like if you can get a good run with it, like up and running, it's nuts. So it's understandable. It's doing the same for you in this game.
Yeah.
You ever play Stacklands?
I never even heard of
Probably not. You probably don't care about it actually. Let me pull up the store page so that way I can give you a description.
I'm curious. Okay. So flying doesn't even make me hit the ground. I can hold on the ground and don't have to worry about being dragged.
You're just hovering ever so slightly. Yep. Interesting rockets you got there.
See what I mean? Like, there we go. Boom. Magnet. Got it. Usually loot box is a huge gamble on this game because the probability of getting hit is a lot harder because there's really no pillars to hide behind.
Yeah.
Oh, he's jammed.
And now suddenly it is as difficult, if not more so, than the original game. Also, I find it funny he's called Low Priest when the original one was the High Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Think that you are in the probably one of the characters that do best against jam, just because when you take damage, it's always the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does some interesting patterns that is really hard to. Oh.
Maybe it's time to introduce you to Toho.
Introduce me to what?
Toho games. that have a story behind it and stuff.
Coho?
Toho. T.
Toho?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Embodiment of the Scarlet Devil and all that.
Hmm.
Some really old stuff.
So I don't get a boss when this happens, but the rooms are really tiny. Oh, this one's not so tiny. But usually they're like. I have no idea what that item does.
What does it say?
I'm looking at it. Whisper Gem. Gun transformation causes. Oh. That'll be even more powerful on the kid.
Oh, so that is his effect. Is it happens really often with him?
Mm-hmm. It's like no time. Like it's like you have it just for the smallest of time.
Okay. Wasn't sure if that was actually what it was when we were talking about it previously.
So it's nice. So I have a owl that causes blanks. I get blanks. Or if it's going to give me the kid item. Oh, that's a great item. I'll take that. Ooh.
I hope that's an auto fire or your finger is gonna
It's
die.
auto fire. I mean,
Oh, thank goodness. Especially with the fire rate up. I was gonna be like, your finger must be dying tapping that fast.
All right, let's do this. Oh, did I? I must have actually forgot. Every time though a blank goes off without me choosing it, I'm double checking to make sure I didn't get hits. Yep. I don't know what's better. Up top? I mean, I won't be able, things will not be able to fall on me. I'm on top. Usually on that one, you're literally stuck on this platform.
Yeah. I was seeing that and it was like, good thing you have flight.
Yeah. Got the money. Might as well.
Always more armor. More health. I looked away and you started making that noise and I got very worried.
Dude, it was spicy. They like just spawn them on you, you know? And you have three to 10 bullets on you at once.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those, choose wisely. Oh, that's nice.
Thankfully you have.
I'm definitely going to fight the octopus again. Ooh. Let's just
Oh,
check
is that
here.
what the worm is?
Mm-hmm.
If you pick up the other Guan stone, that's...
I hate, so this irritates me because in the original game they give you like, they're like, oh sorry, there's nothing we can do, but if I do it, they're like, they still shove the shove the fairy in me.
Ah.
There's that incongruity just annoys me.
I wonder if there's an echo effect for you, like if they get it just gives you money or something.
Seriously, every time I'm like, did I get hit? Check my combo meter. Got some spicy bullets for you guys. Oh my gosh.
Oh, bro, Pete.
If only if there's synergy. Actually, I'll finish the elevator and I'll do this just in case it actually does give me extra shield. If it does, that'll be nice. But all right. Let's get this.
Oh wow, that beta's expensive.
Oh yeah. I may have enough for heated bullets. We'll see. Wait, what? Oh, what? Spacebar with this actually slows down time.
What?
Didn't know that was a feature. It was like usually the jump button actually slows down time.
Oh, probably because you don't have...
So I don't have jump with this. That's why.
So you get all the time.
And this is when the moment that my brain just starts shutting down because there's just so much going, so much effects on screen. It's hard to make sense of heads and tails.
Oh, you're. That's what why you have the feather on the bottom left is.
Yeah.
That's it counts down how much slowdown you get.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's see what you do before I fight the dragon. So this goes straight from dragon to. Yeah, nothing. So I hate it also because in the original they actually mention like, oh, you're a machine, yabba yabba yabba.
Yeah.
I know. I'll pick it up. I'll get pretty much a blank. Not blank, a white stone. Nope.
You have a bat. How is that supposed to work?
One thing is nice on this though, it automatically, if it's fully charged, it'll automatically swing at the first thing nearby.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh. The kid ending though is really funny. Do you want me to tell you? I don't think you ever plan on playing this, right? You're running to the ship, and they're like, "Shut the door quickly!" and the ship just flies off.
Oh.
It's like a sad funny, because I guess the rest of the people don't like him. Yep. Okay, so this part is not flying. Stinger's a great item to do this. Go, 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 go. Hurry up. The other part of this gets really hard. Oh. What the heck?
Out of blanks.
No, 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 no. Defeat him, defeat him, defeat him. Defeat him, defeat him, defeat him. Defeat him. Defeat him, defeat him, defeat him, defeat him. Defeat him, defeat him, defeat him. Oh. Oh.
The black hole gun. So powerful, but also so detrimental. Did you get it?
I did.
Or is there a suddenly
Part 3. I was like, can I just jump off? I'm just seeing, because there like is a key. There's like totally hint that there's like a key. Huh. She just slaps me. Oh, unlocked mutation. I think though it's like, my guess is the lich is like when it truly gets destroyed. At the very end said the Gungeon remembers. Something like that. The Gungeon is remembered. So I think you're supposed to like then erase the memory of the Gungeon. It's like one thing when you erase in the past, but then everyone currently alive, you didn't have to erase its existence.
Hello?
Hello. No? Is this the game? I guess that's game. That's kind of like a...
Ugh.
Beast mode level 2.
Oh.
All right, I guess I'll just try beast mode level 2. All right, I'll be back though.
I'll be back.
What's up, Logan?
What's up?
What are you up to?
Whisk of Wayne.
2?
Yeah. Do you want to play?
Yeah, sure. Are you playing
Okay.
with the... Who's playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm stuck on trying to get Commando clear 20 stages without picking up any lunar items. Kinda hard. If you're not like if you stand still in a late game, then you just die.
Yeah, you just gotta keep moving.
Or actually, I'm so stupid. I was playing in Monsoon the entire time. It would be much easier if I just did Drizzle or something.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm dumb. I thought it meant. What is the Void Portal? 'Cause I saw that and I didn't want to enter it because I was kind of to the achievement.
All right. I think I'm 100%. I think I'm done with this game. I just need to check.
Voice.
So I need to look. Exit.
Me and Justin are gonna play Risk of Rain if you'd want to join, maybe.
I
Since
might.
you're done with that game.
Yeah, I was looking at the Steam achievements for Exit the Gungeon, and it really does look like you probably, quote unquote, finished it, because most of the achievements are like acing many games.
Exit the Gungan.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm done with Exit the Gungeon. So yeah, I'm down for some Risk of Rain too.
Cool.
All right. Thank you, Spinoff, for kind of just
Being a spinoff.
ending like a, I guess, it's like I just blew up a balloon with anticipation and then just released in the cloud. And
It didn't even pop. It just was
like
just deflated.
yeah.
Huh.
Logan, you'd have to send us an invite.
Hey Char, we're gonna play Risk of Rain 2. You want to join us? No? Okay.
I think
That's kind of one of the most disappointing endings I've had in a very long time.
I'm sorry.
I was expecting some Enter the Gungeon kind of ending where the Lich, you literally destroy like, and with also that.
Hopefully
statement
they
at
do
the-
add it eventually, like they did with Enter the Gungeon. Hopefully,
Yeah.
but I don't.